Medellín, Colombia, the city of eternal spring. It's easy to see how it earned that reputation with its perfect weather and its insanely gorgeous views. But it hasn't always been flowers and sunshine. In fact, it was once the most dangerous city in the world. We decided to visit Medellín's most notorious neighborhood, Comuna 13, or in Spanish, Comuna 13.
I was born to be king, I was born to be cool, born to rule. You ain't in my lane, you stay in your place, born to lose. Paid the cost to be the boss, paid with all my sweat, all my tears. While you in my face, always on my case, cause my...
It's formerly known as the murder capital of the world. These days, however, it's more of a tourist attraction, and for good reason. Its bumpy and complicated past have led to incredibly friendly people, fascinating infrastructure, a growing hip-hop music and dance scene, great food, and most famously, some of the world's best street art. All of these things together make for one of the most inspiring examples of human resilience, strength, and community.
Once a farming village way up in the hills, Comuna 13 was ruined and held back for decades by drug and weapon trafficking, paramilitary groups, gangs, and corrupt government. In a history that really also involves other countries like the US, as the top consumers of cocaine, we had the demand, Colombia had the supply, and innocent people were caught in the crossfire of the struggles for power and money that followed. The rampant violence lasted throughout the 80s, 90s, and on into the early 2000s. Things didn't start to change until the neighborhood received more funding in 2006. The elected mayor at the time added the San Javier cable car station connecting the comuna to the rest of the city. This was done for some small form of compensation for decades of neglect and harm. In 2011, escalators were installed so residents and tourists could easily get all the way up into the neighborhood. These escalators were the first built for social purposes in the world and really removed the isolation factor that made life more difficult for the area before.
But the people are what really saved the neighborhood. Young people there are turning away from gangs and violence, dropping the guns, and instead picking up the paintbrushes, mics, dancing, and instruments, and creating something amazing and new. The energy of this place has to be experienced. There's no better way to witness such an inspiring transformation in person. Go try the food, meet the locals, hire a local guide to take you on a graffiti tour in which you'll learn about how so much of the art that covers up the bullets on the walls also tells the stories of Comuna 13's dark past and paint a depiction of its bright future.